Hello students, I welcome you all to the official YouTube channel of SRN International School. I am faculty of economics at SRN International School. Today we are going to discuss the topic Theory of Supply of class 11th Microeconomics. Let's begin with today's topic. Let's see the first term supply. Supply refers to different quantities which producer is ready to sell at different level of prices at a particular point of time. Now let's see quantity supplied. It refers to specific quantity which producer is ready to sell at a specific price of the commodity. How a supply is different from stock. In ordinary language, supply and stock are used in the same sense, but in economics it has different meaning. Stock refers to the total quantity or that commodity which is available with the producer at the point of time. Stock means both for the present as well as for future sale. Supply refers to that part of the stock which producer is presently ready to sell at a given price. Suppose the stock of rice with the producer is 100 tons and the prevailing price in the market is 500 rupees per ton. Now at this prevailing price the producer is ready to sell 10 tons, then the supply of the rice will be 10 tons. If the price increases to 600 tons, then a producer is ready to sell 50 tons. So the supply changes from 10 tons to 50 tons. This is the way how a supply is different from stock. Let's talk about supply schedule. It is a table showing the different quantities of a commodity which a producer is ready to sell at different possible prices at a particular point of time. There can be an individual supply schedule and there is a market supply schedule. In an individual supply schedule is a table showing different quantities of a commodity which a single producer is ready to sell at a different possible prices. But when you talk about market supply, here the different quantities of a commodity which all the producers are ready to sell at different possible prices. Now let's come within supply curve. Supply curve is a graphic presentation showing different quantities of a commodity offered for sale by the producer at different level of prices. Again, the supply curve is divided into individual supply and a market supply curve. So when you talk about individual supply curve, it is a graphic presentation showing different quantities of commodity which single producer is ready to sell. When you talk about market, here it is a graphic presentation showing the different quantities which all the producers are ready to sell. Let's see the supply functions, which is also called as determinants of supply. The first determinant is its own price of a commodity. Its own price of a commodity has a direct relation with the supply. It means price of a commodity increases, quantity supply increases. Price of a commodity decreases, its quantity supply decreases. Let's talk about price of related goods. Before we begin with price of related good, we should understand what are the related goods. Related goods are of two types. One is in substitute good and it is in complementary goods. Let's talk about substitute goods. Goods which is placed which can be used in place of another good like tea and coffee is a substitute good. Complementary goods are the goods which are used together jointly like car and petrol, pen and ink. Let's talk about the price of substitute goods. Say coffee has an indirect relation with the supply of tea. It simply means that the price of tea remains constant. With the increase in the price of coffee, the supply of tea decreases, and with the decrease in the price of coffee, the supply of tea increases. Let's talk about the price of complementary goods. Petrol has a direct relation with the supply of given good, petrol car. Still, the price of a petrol car remains same. If the price of petrol increases, the supply of petrol car increases. If the price of petrol decreases, the supply of petrol car decreases. Now here comes the number of firms in an industry. If the number of firms in an industry increases, there will be more production of goods and services and there will be more supply. And opposite is the case when the number of firms falls down, there will be less production of goods and there will be less supply. So we can say that there is an inverse, there is a direct relation with the number of firm and its supply. Then we have a goal of the firm. If the goal of a firm is to maximize profit, more quantity will be offered only at an higher price. If goal is to maximize sales, more will be supplied even at the same price. Now we have a price of factor of production. If the price of factor of production decreases, the cost of production also reduces. Therefore, more quantity can be supplied at an existing price. If the factor price increases, the cost of production will also increase, and therefore the less of the commodity is supplied at an existing price. Then we have a state of technology. If you had an improvement in technology, there will be more production, there will be a reduction in cost of production, and the more quantity will be supplied at an existing price, and vice versa. Let's talk about expected future price. If the producer expects future rise in a price, then the current supply of a commodity will decrease. If the producer expects future fall in the price, the current supply of a commodity will increase. Government policy. The government policy is related to taxation and subsidies policy. Taxation rate has an inverse relation with the supply of a commodity. If tax increases, the supply of a commodity will decrease. If tax decreases, the supply of a commodity will increase. Let's talk about subsidies. Subsidies have a direct relation with the supply. If the subsidies provided by the government increases, there will be more supply. And if the supply decreases with the decrease in the subsidies availability. I hope you all have understood the meaning of supply and its determinants. If you had any query, please drop it in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe the video. Thank you all. Stay safe and stay healthy.